So hi everyone, very good morning and good evening. This is related to Snowflake guys. So today what we are going to do is we are going to discuss about, let me share my screen. Okay. So today what we will do is we are going to see the practical things related to Snowflake. In the last session, so what we have done, so in the last session we saw that what exactly the Snowflake is, the Snowflake interface we saw that, right? Today what we are going to do is we are going to see so how we can able to load the data to Snowflake tables. So let's say, for example, if you wanted to load data, where you have to load, we have to load the data to our tables. Where this tables is going to be available, it will be available in schema. These schemas where it will be available, it will be in a database. This database in our Snowflake account, right? When we create the Snowflake account, like in the last session we created a Snowflake account, right? Within that Snowflake account, for our practice purpose, what we are going to do is we are going to create a database. Within the database, when you create the database, we will have a schemas. Within the schema, we are going to create a table, and then within that we are going to load the data into our Snowflake tables by using user interface option. So this is called load data option. When we are loading the data to Snowflake, right, we have different options. One is by using the user interface, load data by using user interface. Another one is we can use copy command. Other one is we can use snowpipe. These are the three different ways when we are loading the data to our table. But today we are going to concentrate on so how to load the data by using user interface, load data option by using the within the table. Now what we are going to do is, first let me log in into our Snowflake account which you have created previously. Now in the last session I created this Snowflake account. The URL is this one. This is the URL and this is the username and then password. Now with the same URL, let me log in into our Snowflake. So what we are going to do is Snowflake 8. This is the username and let me give the password. I am logging into our Snowflake account which I have created in the previous session. Once I logged into the Snowflake account, if you observe here, you can able to see the recently opened worksheet which you have opened in the last session, that you can able to see it here. So if you wanted to open the worksheet, always make a practice of open this worksheet in a new window. Let me show you new window so that this will be your worksheet, the window worksheet tab where we are going to work with. This will be your main page. So here what we have done in the previous session, you can able to see these are the default databases. This we will call it as a shared databases. In these databases you can read the data, that's it, but you don't have any option to like work on these particular activities. We cannot create objects here, we cannot modify the tables, that is not possible. This database is shared database, you can able to see it here. This is Snowflake has given for us for our practice purpose. Now for our the session, what we are going to do is, let me, if you wanted to save this worksheet, right, let me close this. This is a worksheet, right? If you wanted to save, just double click on this worksheet, then just give some name to the worksheet. By default it will be saved with that particular name. If I close it also, now I have closed, see this one, same worksheet. If I wanted to open it again, just I will click on the worksheet, then that particular worksheet will be open. So this one, the worksheet has been opened. Now what we are going to do is, here our requirement is, if you observe, let me show you. Okay, here this is a file guys. This is the file which it is available in my system. This particular data I wanted to load it into our Snowflake tables. If I want to load the data into the table, then we should have we logged into the Snowflake account which you have created. We should have a database, schema, the table, then only we can load the data to the table. Okay, if you anyone is new to the database, if you wanted to know the relationship between these, for example, I will give you the simple example here. Let me open Excel file. Okay, let's assume this Excel which I have opened, let's assume this is our one database. If I want to open this Excel, Microsoft has to be installed in my system, right? Let's assume that Microsoft Office is our Snowflake account. That is nothing but a database. Once it is installed, database installed, now I can open n number of worksheets like this, right? Each and every worksheet considered as a different databases. Now, if you observe here, see this, we have one database, this is other database. Like that, I wanted to create a new database. Then come here, see this. Once you created an account, once you log into the account, you can create n number of databases like this. For example, let's assume within the organization, you may have n number of modules. Like one is sales module project, another one is like for example, let's take an example of banking. In the bank, they will have, if you talk about the loans, they will have the personal loans department separately, business loans department separately, home loans department separately. Let's assume each and every department they are implementing different the projects. Now the bank is your, let's assume your account. Within that bank, you are creating multiple projects as a multiple databases. Every database will have the particular related to talk about that particular module. The same way here, see this book one is our one database. Within that, you may have n number of schemas like worksheets. See this one, I am creating n number of worksheets. Let's talk about this particular worksheet. It contains related to all the HR details. Worksheet 2, it contains all the data related to the sales details. Worksheet 3, it's related to account details. For example, worksheet 4, it's related to, let's take employee details, right? So what we are doing here, every worksheet we are maintaining separately, because when you create a, for example, data, when you insert a data into this worksheet,
Nal
every,
merkatli.
so now let's come here. So when you are coming to this, see this, every, like if you observe, every worksheet has a separate schema. Here also, if you observe, you may have schemas. See this one, these are the different schemas, right? The same way here, we will have a different schemas. For example, here all the data which you are going to fill, that is related to HR information. In the other worksheet which you are going to fill, that is related to the sales information. Like that, you will segregate your data to for the understanding purpose. So let's assume that this is one table which you have created on the border. This is one table, this is another table, this is another table. Let's assume that this table's details, it is belongs to only the employees information. Same way, account information, all the account related information, it will be available. You will create multiple tables here. This will talk about only the account related information. So why you are doing this, everything, why we cannot able to keep it in one particular worksheet? It will be mess, right? You cannot able to understand what this particular worksheet is talking about, right? The same way, you will have a multiple schemas within that particular database. Within the schema, you may have different tables. Each and every table talk about the different things, right? You may have columns, and then like columns and then data, it will be there in the tables, right? The same way here, you can create n number of databases. Like every database, it contains, every account, it contains multiple databases like these worksheets, right? Within the worksheet, you will have the schemas. Now let's come to this one. Here, what you are going to do, we are going to load this data into our table, right? For that, we should have a table here. Now come here. For our practice purpose, what we will do is we will create a new database. I am creating a new database name called class. I created a database. Now if you observe, once you create a database, by default, observe this one, Snowflake will create two schemas. One is information schema, another one is public schema. See this one? One is information schema, another one is public schema. Now, whatever the objects we are going to create in the database, everything will be available in public schema. We are going to create everything in the public schema. We are not going to do anything on the information schema. It contains information about the objects which you are going to create on public. It means whatever the tables, whatever the objects you are going to create it here, that metadata information, it will be available in information schema. Every database by default, this information schema will be created. It contains, just remember that, all the metadata information about those objects. This will talk about only the views. It will be in the form of views only. See this one, by default it is available. Now just I created a database, but these all the things by default it came to us, right? Because this, when I created a respective object, it is going to capture that metadata information. That information will be available in information schema. Going forward, we will see how to utilize this information schema. Now we created a database. Within the database, by default, it's created a public schema, right? If I want to create a other schema, new schema I wanted to create, yes, you can able to create. See this one, create schema option is there, right? You can create a new schema also, but here already existing schema is available. Within this schema, I wanted to create a table. See this option, create table option is there. Now this is our main window where you have created the database and then schema. If you wanted to see that in the worksheet also, see this, once you created here in the worksheet, just you have to refresh. Observe this one, just click on refresh. When you refresh it here, we can able to see the database name and then schema name. See this, both are similar, both are same, but in the worksheet, whatever you are going to do, you are going to write with the commands within the worksheet. Here you will have a shortcuts to create it. Now if you observe here, this worksheet, where it is connected, it is connected to Snowflake sample database and this particular schema. But we wanted to work with this particular scheme database, this particular schema. If you wanted to work with this, your worksheet has to set to this particular database and schema. You can do manual selection here like this. Another way is click on this schema, set worksheet context. When you click on set worksheet context, then this particular worksheet will be connected to this database. It will associate it to this particular database, this particular public schema. Now whatever you are going to create it here, whatever the query you are going to write it here, it will refer to this public schema and class database. Clear? Now see this, we have a database, we have a schema. Now what we wanted, now we need to create a table structure. If you wanted to load this file to our Snowflake, we need to create a table structure. To create, normally when you are creating a table structure, what you are going to do, you are going to write a command, create table name, and then we will give the column names. That is a command to write. Same thing, if you wanted to do it here, yes, we can able to do with the help of this create option. See this one, go to the table. So here you can able to see select as select or as standard. So you can use standard table. It is going to create a table. From the file also you can able to create a table. See this option, if you go with the file, it will ask you the file which is going to ask. But let's see, So with the help of standard, see this, how we can able to do is when I click on standard table, again it redirected to the worksheet. See this one, it redirected to the worksheet. You can able to see create table, table name, column names and data types, right? And at the same time, it has given the documentation window also. Here, this is the documentation. Our Snowflake, you will have the complete, this is a library for us. Everything, whatever we are going to do it here, everything it will be available in our documentation. For any help, if you want any syntaxes, if you want any help, you can go to the documentation directly. Let me close this. See this here. If you click on this, here you can able to see documentation. See this one. When I click on this, you will redirect it to the documentation, right? This is our library for us. Everything it will be available here. Whatever the thing we are going to discuss, everything it will be here. Now, for example, I wanted to know the syntax for create table here. Create table. See this one. If I type here, if I enter, you can able to see the syntax for a create table. See this one, create table syntax. You can able to see that with the example also you can able to understand it. So how to create a table and then what is the syntax for that, everything it will be available in the documentation. Now our requirement is we wanted to create a table. We can go with this like this, these options we can go, different options we can use it. Another thing is, as a best practices, right, what you need to do is till you get familiar with that, so you try to write a query here. Now whatever the query you wanted to create, that query also I have given in the documentation here. This like the folder, it will be uploaded into the drive. Let me share you the drive link here. If anyone is not having the drive access, please ask organizer, they will give you the drive access to you guys. I will text you this drive in the chat window. Just a minute. This is the drive link. I will give it to everyone in the meeting. Yeah, you can able to see that this is the drive link. So when you click on the drive link, you can able to see the complete details. See this one. This is the yesterday session. This is the today's session. Already the document I have uploaded. After the session is completed, after half an hour, you will get the recorded video also here. In this drive, you will get all the details on daily basis. Now here, so if you observe this table we wanted to create, so we can use create table structure, create table option. See this one, create table statement. Now due to the time constraint, what I am going to do is here I am copy and pasting here, copy pasting here. So for the doc from the documentation every time, but when you are practicing, please make a practice of, please type the commands and then try to execute it. Now here what you are going to do is, within this particular public schema, within this particular table, we are creating a table. Table name is emp. These are the column names and data types. From where we understand that these are the column names. If you observe the file, see this one, this we are trying to load, right? First line, if you observe, these are the column names: employee ID, name, salary, age, location. These are the column names. These are related to data, right? By seeing this, we can understand these are the column names and this is the data. Clear? Now let's come to this. Based on this, we are creating a table structure: employee ID, name, salary, age, location. These are the 5 columns. Now if you want to execute any command, select that command completely, use control enter, that is a shortcut. Other way is just click on the play symbol, that is nothing but the command is going to execute. Or instead of selecting also, you can use, just keep the cursor here, then use control enter, that also it will work. Now select the command. Now I am using, execute this. Now observe this one, what happened now, the table emp is created. See this one, the table emp successfully created. When you refresh it here, you can able to see the table is available here. When you click on this emp, you can able to see the structure of the table. See this column names and then data types, column name, data types, right? You can able to observe this. One more thing here, if you observe the symbol here, right? See this hash, this is related to, if it is a numeric values, then it will give you like this symbol. This one, it is related to the text. When you see the data here like this, the column structure, by seeing this, just we can able to understand what this particular column contains. Now the table is available, but do you have any data in the table? Just it's a empty table structure we created, that's it, right? If you see, select star from, this is the table name, right? EMP. Just we created a empty table structure, that's it. See this, just we have a ID, name, salary, age, location. Just we have a column names and then data types, that's it. But we don't have data, we didn't inserted any data here. If you insert the data, then only the data will be available here, right? Now to load the data into this table, we have different options. One is we can insert the data, another one is we can use copy command, another one is we can use snowpipe. These are the different options, but we will see load table option now. Load data to the table. With the help of this, we will load the data into this particular table. Now from here in this worksheet you can do it. Another way is you can go to the main window. Here also refresh it, click on the table. This is the table. Now see this one, table details. You can able to see columns, you can able to see what all the columns we have. And then if the data is available, you can see the data here, but we don't have any data here. And you can see this one, the top right hand side, you can see load data. If you want to load the data into the table, just you can simply click on load data. This is our user interface option. Now when you click on load data, we got this window, right? The same thing when you come here also, click on the table. When you click on the table, here you can able to see more options, right? These three dots. Click on that, you can able to see load data. Here also the same. When you click on this, again it will give you the same option. Both are similar. You can do it from anywhere. Now see this, what it is asking. Load data into the table. We need to browse the file. That is nothing but you need to select the file. Which file you wanted to trying to load. You are trying to load that particular file, you need to select, browse it here. This file I wanted to load it. I select the file which I wanted to load to the table. This is the file name. If you scroll down, see this file we are going to load it to this public schema, this class database. For which table we are trying to load? For the EMP table, right? When you click on next, observe this. Here you can able to see this one. Select file format. This is very important. Why you need to select a file format here? Now if you observe the file here, see this. By seeing this file as a human, we can able to understand the first line is a column name, and each and every column it is separating with commas, right? And when it is coming to the new line, we can consider this as a new row, right? By seeing all these things, we can understand what exactly is happening, right? I mean, so what is this file is all about? And then so what is the separator? That is a like delimiter. We used to call that as a, I'm sorry guys, we used to call that as a delimiter. It means delimiter means which is separating in between the column to column, that is a delimiter. Here in this particular file, comma is a delimiter. The complete file, it should be with a single delimiter, then only that is valid. It should be with a single delimiter, then only that is valid. If this file is contains, this is a comma separate delimiter, right? If the file is having, like instead of comma, if it is having a pipe in the complete file, that will be a pipe separate delimiter. But here it is a comma separate delimiter. The complete file should be with single delimiter, then only it is a valid file. Now we selected, we need, by seeing this we can understand this is the column names, this is the data. When it is coming to the new line, we can consider this as a new row, right? And then it is separating with comma, right? But how come the same thing it will be understandable by the Snowflake, right? For that we need to specify file formats here. When you observe this here, file formats, see this one, file format. These are the 6 different file formats Snowflake will support. This is one of your certification questions and interview question also. Now, today what we are dealing, that particular file is delimited file, CSV file, comma separated value, delimited file. See this one, CSV, right? Other than this, Snowflake will support JSON files, Pocket, Avro, ORC, XML. Maybe you are familiar with, so some of the guys familiar with CSV and then XML files. What about the other file formats? These are semi-structured file formats. JSON files, Parquet, Avro, ORC, these are the semi-structured file formats. Going forward, when we are working with the semi-structured, we will discuss about these file formats. Now, so what is the file format current which we are trying to use? That is a CSV. Select the CSV format. Now we have selected the file format. Now when you select the file format, by default you can able to see this one, from the file, from the table, what is the data. You can able to see that. When you click on the table preview, you can able to see how the data is going to be loaded into your table. See this, clearly you can see that, right? Now one more option is view option. Here, this is the additional things. So by default, the first line contains a header. By default, it is selected, right? If the file is not having any header, the complete first row also, if it is considered as a data, then we have to select no header. See this, if you select no header, observe the right hand side, the changes. This line also, it will consider as a data. So then it will give the error. But this file is having headers, right? If the header is not having in the file, then you can select no header, but this is having a header. That's why first line is contains header, we are selected. Now other option is skip first line from a file. I wanted to skip a first line from a file, then you can use skip first line. It means first line it is going to be skipped, it will not loaded, this line will be skipped. If I want to skip the first other lines, for example, you can give custom. See this one, enter the number of headers to skip. If I give 2, right? So I can use skip, we will give the custom and then enter header lines to skip. I will give 3, then first 3 will be skipped here. First 3 will be skipped. See this one, first 3 lines has been skipped and the remaining it is going to pick. So this is only for the headers. There is no option for the footers. Okay, only for the headers we have option here. But what is we are going to do here? We will select first line contains a header. That is a by default option what we are going to select. Remaining option based on requirement we will use it. Now field delimiter. What is the delimiter here? Delimiter is comma, right? That's why by default delimiter will be comma only. You no need to select. So if your delimiter is comma, if the file is having any other delimiters like pipe symbol, tab, semicolon, any other additional things, then we can use that particular delimiter. So for example, see this one, any other custom delimiter also we can use it. So custom means, for example, you have at the rate, hash, or any other symbols we have, then we can use that particular delimiter. But here, what is the delimiter here? Comma is a delimiter, right? So selected the comma delimiter. These are the main things. Remaining all are let it be default. And one more thing is, if you scroll down, see this here, there is an option called, observe this one, table loading method. See this, if the table is having already a data, what you wanted to do, you wanted to append Data default, it means every time it has to insert new data. Other option is replace. What it is going to do is, if the table is already having a data, it is going to remove the previous data and then it is going to load the new data. These are the two options, but default, what you are going to do is we are going to append the data to the table. We will insert the data into the table when you are loading the data into the table. That is append option. What is the other option we have? When during the load time, we can remove the existing data and then we can load the recent data. That is the other option. That is nothing but a replace. But what will be selected by default? Append. Now this is match by columns, nothing but your like this one. So column names means based on the column names, see this one, based on the column names it is going to match the values here. That is fine. Now one more thing is, see this, the down option. So if you minimize, you can able to see that. Let me minimize this. See this one. What should happen if an error is encountered? By default option is abort statement. It means if any error during the load, do not load any data by default. This is a by default option. This is the default option. What we will have. So this one default option is do not load any data. Other option is ignore the errors, load only the valid data. That is the other option. Okay, going forward we will see this option, but now let it be default option, do not load any data, right? This is what we have done. Okay, just a minute. Let me increase the font. Sorry. Okay, fine. Now, once you selected these options, now see one thing here, show SQL. Just observe this. For we are going to discuss more about this in the coming session. Let me copy this. Whatever the selections we have done here, whatever the options we have selected here, based on that, Snowflake, what it has done is, it has written this code in the backend. Copy into table. This is the table. Copy into table within this schema, within this database from. This is related to the stage area. And these are related to the file formats. These are related to the file formats. These are file formats information. And observe this on error abort statement. If any error encounters, don't load any data. Skip header 1, type CSV, right? So these are the things by default it is selected based on our file format option. In simple way, what it is going to do is the file first it will be loaded to the stage area. From the stage, it is going to load the data to the table. File it is keeping that in a stage area. Then from the stage, it is loading the data to the table. That's why you can able to see it here. Copy into table from, this is related to stage area. It is copying the data from stage to the table. Whatever the file we are going to load it here. This file we have given a selection, right? In a load table option, we selected the file. The file it will keep in stage first, then it will load the data to the table. Remember one thing here, in Snowflake, it will not allow you to load the data directly to the table without stage. That is not at all possible. At this moment, stage means, remember that it's a temporary area where we are going to keep our files for the processing purpose, for the cleansing activities. In the next sessions, we are going to see about the more about the stages. Now what it is going to do in the backend, it will keep the file into the stage. From the stage to, it will load the data to the table. Now when I click on load option, observe successfully data has been loaded to the table, right? Now click on done. Now check the data here, select star from table. What I can see the data here, right? The data has been loaded to the table. Now we can able to see the data here also. If you come here, refresh it here, Now table data preview, you can see the data here. See, this data has been loaded, right? So here when you refresh it, you can able to see the data has been loaded or not. Now I wanted to load it again. One more time I wanted to load. Yes, we can able to load again with the same option. You can able to load same file also one more time, because when you selected a file format, what you have specified append, right? Append means every time it will insert the data into the table. See this, now I will try one more time. Load table, browse, same file I am selecting, select the option, let it be remaining things. Next, the file format CSV, right? Remaining all the default options what it is going to be available, comma separated, first line is having a header, right? Remaining all are let it be. Now click on load again one more time. See this, 4 rows were successfully loaded into the table. It is inserted into the table. Now first time 4 is loaded, second time again 4 loaded. Now totally we can able to see 8 rows here, right? This is just for the loading the data. Now same way we have another option also. If you want to load Excel file, see this one, this is very important. When you are trying to load Excel file, Snowflake will not support direct Excel extension, directly .xlsx files. It will not allow you to load. What you need to do is you have to convert the file in the form of .csv extension. Then only it will allow you to load. If you observe here, let me close this. See this, what is the file extension here? Comma separated value file, right? Normal Excel file, if you wanted to convert into the comma separated value, what you have to do is go to the file, you can click on save as option, and here you can able to see comma separated delimiter. See this one, comma delimiter CSV. You need to save the file in the form of this extension. Then if you save this in the form of this extension, then only Snowflake will allow. Comma separated files are lightweighted files instead of comparing to the Excel files. Excel files where it will have all the macros and all those things. It will be heavy like file. So it will not support most of the applications. The same thing here, Snowflake also it will support the lightweighted CSV files. Okay, comma separated extension it will support. Now this is extension of CSV. See this, extension of comma separated value file. Now here also same columns, ID, name, salary, age, location. The same structure it is already available in the table, right? ID, name, salary, age, location. I can load the same data into the same table, right? Now if I try to load it, observe this, select the file. This is the file which I wanted to load. Select, then same table, database and schema. Next. Now this is also CSV file only because it is a comma separated value file. We saved in the form of extension of CSV, right? So it will consider as a comma separated value. Once you selected a file, if you wanted to cross check whether the file format and everything is proper or not, just click on table preview. Then we can understand. See this one, it is proper, right? Next, you can click on load data. Now the data is loaded to the table. Now 8 rows has been loaded. Previously first time 4, next time 4, next time 8 has been loaded to the table. Now observe this, how many total? 16 rows. Same thing if I wanted to see that in the worksheet, execute the select star from table command, you can able to see the data. Now I wanted to see only the specific rows. Then you have an option of, see this one, only I wanted to see employee name and then salary, and then employee name and then salary only I wanted to see. Only the 2 columns, right? Instead of selecting, I wanted to know let me select all the columns, select all, and then I wanted to filter out only the data related to the country. India. So this I can able to see the only the data, right? And at the same time, here once we loaded the data, this data is available in the table, and here we are trying to use load table option, load data option, right? Load data to the table. This is the option which you have used. Now here in Snowflake, we have a limitation. When you're trying to use this load table option, if your file size is greater than 200 MB file, this option will not support. User interface option is not going to support if your files is greater than 200 MB file. Then how to do that? Maybe I wanted to load a file more than 200 MB file. Then we have a command line interface option. With the help of this, we can able to load the data. That we will see that in the coming session. But remember that when you are using this option, load table option, your Snowflake will not support if your file size is greater than 200 MB. This is a manual. And one more thing is, when you use this load table option, load data option, it will allow duplicate data into the table. See this one, same file. If I try to load one more time, it allowed, right? But if you are implementing this by using a copy command option, you will Snowflake will not allow you to load the data to the table, same file one more time to the table. It will restrict. By using a CLI, we will use copy command option. With the help of copy command, it will not allow you to load same file one more time. So that what will happen, it will not allow you to load duplicate entries. It will not allow you to load same file one more time. Here what we have done, same file we loaded one more time and we selected the same file, we have loaded again, it accepted. But when you are using a copy command, this option will not be available. Okay, so what we have done here, just we created a table structure, right? So by using the, sorry, first we created a database, right? Once you created a database, so then by default the schema is created. Within the schema, you created a table. To that particular table, we have loaded the data by using load table option. What are the different file formats it will support? Totally 6 file formats Snowflake will support. Remember the number 6, then you can able to recall it very easily. The CSV, and then JSON file, and then Parquet, Avro, and then XML, right? So these are the different 6 different file format Snowflake will support. And what is the restriction here? When you are using load data option within the Snowflake, with this load data option, Snowflake will not allow you if your file size is greater than 200 MB. So then we have to approach CLI, command line interface. Here what we have done, we loaded only one file at the same time. In the coming session, what we are going to do is we are going to see how to load multiple files. When you are loading the data into the table by using this option, file to the stage to the table, we have a different stages here in our Snowflake, like user stage, table stage, named stage. With the help of those stages, we will use copy command. So with the help of copy command, that we will call it as a bulk loading option. We can load multiple files at the same time. We can load only the single file at the same time. During the runtime, during the load time, we can ignore the error file. We can load only the valid data. We can ignore the error records. These are the different options we can able to use when we are loading the data to our Snowflake table. So what we are going to do is, so in the coming session we will see how to load to another Snowflake table. We will create, every time we will create a new table based on the requirement, and then we will try to use all the different options. In the coming session we will see stages, by using the stages how we can able to implement it. What it mean by the stage? At this moment, remember that it's a temporary location which Snowflake has given to us. Okay, so we can able to keep the files for the temporary for the validation purpose. Later on we can able to load the data to the table. Okay, and one more thing, just explore. See this. So I request to everyone to create our Snowflake trial account. Whatever we have done today here, the same thing try to implement in your trial account. First 4 to 5 days, like a first like a 4 to 5 sessions, try to practice on everyday basis so that you will get like a good like a hands on at the same time. So you will familiar with the navigation. Once you are familiar with the navigation, later on you can able to understand the things very easily. Okay, whatever the things we have done today, same thing for the data loading, we are going to do the same thing on everyday basis, but only the difference is the approach will change based on the copy command, based on the stages. Different options we are going to implement it. We will see those things, each and everything, in the coming session. So what we will do is we will stop it here. Let me come to the questions. Sorry. And one more thing, so once we say this, once we created anything in the worksheet, if you close, by default it will be saved. See this one, I close that worksheet. Again, if I try to open, if I go to the home, see this, the worksheet, right? If I open the worksheet, see this, whatever the things we have done in the worksheet, it will be by default it will be saved. So you no need to worry about it. Just you can close it and then you can sign out also. If you open it again, the recent worksheet, it will be available here. You can able to work with the same worksheet again. Okay, so now let's come to the questions here. I will go one by one. I can see some of the questions from Kalyani. Yeah, let me go one by one, guys. Sorry, this is completely Snowflake, guys. It is not related to DBT, Satish. Now, um, okay, do you have the way to load fixed length files without yes, we have that. That we will call it as a tab separated delimiter. With the tab separated, yes, we can able to load it. Mainframe EDC files. Do you have threshold based load based on the percentage? Yeah, in that case, right, what we can able to do is we can use the other option, right, Kalyani? So we have a option of load table with custom. So you can give the custom selection and then you can use the, like for example, you are telling that percentage, right? Based on the percentage you can give, then it will load. If any file error occurs, then it will be failed. Yeah, every day the same time. It's Snowflake table every day. Sorry, just a minute. Percentage bad records about the load. Okay, for example, if a new file every day in my SharePoint, can you automate? Yes, Nagaraju, that is possible with the help of Snowpipe, a continuous ingestion process, right? We can able to do that. We will see that scenario also. Going forward, I will show you. There is a two different approaches. One is by using Snowpipe implementation. Another one is by using the task implementation. With the help of these two things, we can able to automate the process. That is possible. We can able to do. Schema is for segregation of the data only, or any, yes, the main intention is the segregation of the data only, person. Yeah, so that we can understand which schema it contains, which kind of the data it is available. Okay, regarding the data load from CSV file which has more than one sheet. Okay, how to okay, coming to this, that's the reason. So in the Excel file, CSV files, right, when you are loading, so always it will pick the only the first the sheet. Okay, it is going to pick the first sheet. So if it is in the data is in a second sheet, then it will not allow only the first sheet data, whatever it is available, that particular sheet data only it will pick. That's why we will create it as a CSV format, CSV extension. Okay, so it will not support the other sheet data. Just a minute. I had created a Snowflake account with, okay. Can I use the same Gmail ID to create another Snowflake account under practice? Yes, we can able to do that, Ankit. Yes, that is possible. You can able to use the same email ID for other account creation also after the 30 days. It will allow us to complete Snowflake certification. We cover everything. Yes, Shivadeep, most of the like certification questions also we are going to cover in this particular session itself. I will provide the dumps also before appearing for the exam. At least you have to practice that dumps at least 3 to 4 times. Then you will be in a good shape to take up the interview. Sorry, to take up the certification exam. Can you please share the drive link warehousing SQL concept recorded videos? Yes, Srihari. I will inform the organizer. They will share it to you. Could you kindly explain what is happening in the backend when the loading the data? Right? Yeah. So yeah, what it is happening is in the backend. See, it's just remember these steps. File, it will go to the stage area. From the stage, it will go to the table. That's it. Just remember these steps. What exactly is happening in the backend when we are working with the stage concept in the next session? I will show you what exactly will happen when it is coming to this. In simple, it is going to run the copy command in the backend. Copy command is nothing but, see this one. This is the command which we have here, right? It is going to copy the data to the table from the stage area where the files is available here in this stage area. Then it is going to so pick the file format. This is the thing what it is going to happen in the backend. We'll see that in the so tomorrow's session. I will show you what exactly the stage is, how it looks like, and then how to pick the data from the stage. What is the difference between Snowflake and DBA class? Which one should I join? Shivdeep, it depends on you. So, what exactly you are planning for? Like, if you are planning for the Snowflake data engineer or Snowflake DBA, then this is for you, Shivdeep. I'm not sure about which DBA session you are talking about. It depends on your background. What is your background, and then what is your like experience? So, based on that, you can decide, Shivdeep. Can you please confirm on the usage? What is free? What is not with the trial account? Yeah, Ankit, when you created a trial account, right? When especially we are creating enterprise account, most of the features we can able to practice it here. Other than like kind of failover groups creation, that is not possible. That is related to high level admin side, and then some of the like core like the Snowflake has given some integrations with Gen AI and then Cortex. That is not possible with the trial account. Okay, remaining everything you can able to do it with the trial account. It will be permanently available. There is no limitation, Ankit. So once the data schema is created within this database, until you drop these tables and everything, it will be available within the schema. Until you drop this database, until you drop this schema, permanently it will be available. There is no limitation. Okay. Can Snowflake handle ETL process? Don't we need any other ETL tool integration? A good question, Vivek. So when it is coming to ETL process, right? Snowflake is capable of planning ELT approach. Okay. Snowflake only like you can consider for the OLAP processing. Okay. The complete transformation logic, if you wanted to do that, yes, that is also possible with Snowflake. But here, like ETL tools will have other, like for example, Informatica or SSIS, Talent, whatever it may be. Those ETL tools are the GUI, graphical user interfaces. You can able to have, you can use existing transformation logics. But here in Snowflake, you have to do it with the help of procedures. But Snowflake, most of the time, we will use it for OLAP transactions, not for the OLTP purpose, because of the behavior of Snowflake. It's a column level storage, columnar storage format. It is going to store. It is not meant for the OLTP transactions. Okay. So you can integrate with any of the ETL tools. That doesn't matter. Snowflake can be integrated with any of the ETL tools. That is possible. It depends purely on the project to project specific. Any other questions here?
Can you hear me?
Nodding. Yes, I can hear you.
What technology are they using to
Mm.
do this, to convert everything? I mean, there has to be something at the back end, right, running, which is reading our
Yeah, backend
this.
they are using some like what I heard is they are using some .NET frameworks in the backend, but I'm not sure exactly what they are using exactly. So it has been developed and it will be converted into our SQL language. Seven regarding another role academy will help in job search profile marketing. So I'm not sure about it. Profile marketing and all those things will not be done. So what I am going to do is I will give you if you want like the sample CVs, and then I will help you in the building your CVs. That part I can able to take care. This is completely the Snowflake session, not the DBT session. DBT is a ELT tool. Okay, so it's a transformation tool. So when it is coming to the Snowflake, it's completely the warehousing. Okay, data warehousing, and then it's completely the both are the some different tools. Yes, Shivadeep, that is possible. So you should practice very well. Yeah. So I request to everyone. So please create your trial account, and then please try to implement what we have done today. The same thing in your account. So this the drive link which I have given in the chat window. So I hope everyone is having the access. You can find the documentation there and recorded session also. You can use that recorded session and then try to create the thing what we have done today. And then tomorrow session we will see so how to load the data by using the stages. Yeah, that's great, Shivadeep. Yes, then you can able to. Any other questions? Any questions from anyone? Okay, guys.
So
If you don't, any-
it's
yeah.
yeah, it's going to be very simple, but it's a
Snow
very
Park,
dumb question.
no, no. Just one second, Ram. No, Sayed, we are not covering Snow Park here. That is completely related to Databricks. Okay. Yes, Ram. Please tell me.
So the Snowflake have its built-in orchestration, or we are using any third-party tool again
Yeah, some
for
sort of
scheduling?
orchestration we have, some sort of capability, like we can able
Mm-hmm.
to schedule by using a task. That is a task implementation. We can create a dependency, we can create a schedule for the specific time period. But if you go beyond that, then we have third-party scheduling tools also we can use. Like maybe you heard about Airflow, Control M, Autosys. These are the scheduling tools. It will also be utilized. But Snowflake has given their own orchestration tool, but it is not up to the mark. Yeah. See, it's a combination when you are talking about the DBT or Snowflake. It's a combination, Shivdeep. And then, like a Snowflake is when compared to the DBT, Snowflake is more demanded. And when it is coming to the certification, job switch, and all those things, so after the completion of the session, so if you practice on daily basis, then after the session you required so nearly 40 to 45 days for the preparation and then certification and all those things. Everything it will be available, that is available in our query history tab. You can able to see for everything whatever we are going to do it here, right? Everything you can able to see it here. See this one, query history, copy history, task history, right? All these things are related to the logging information. You can able to see that the complete information here. See this, if you go to the query history, you can see which query has executed. So what is whether it is success or failure, So who ran this particular query? What is the virtual warehouse duration? So when it has been started, and the complete details you can able to see. If you want some other additional columns also, you wanted to see the end time, you wanted to see the warehouse size, see the session ID. So you can able to see all these things also here. Okay, this is like the logging information which you are having here. See, let's say Snowflake is completely cloud, Surya. Cloud implementation. Oracle is a traditional databases. So if you missed yesterday's session, so please go through that once. And when it is coming to the DBT, right? DBT is a like a alternate for ETL tools. So previously for traditional databases, we will use ETL tools. Now after the cloud came into the picture, now we are using ELT tools. DBT is a ELT tool. It's nothing but a transformation tool. Yeah. So end to end, whatever the things we are going to discuss Shivdeep here, so it will be like based on the topic wise, we are going to see the end to end execution. But don't think that it is like a complete the project we are going to do it here. It is not like that. But some of the scenarios, the end to end pipeline, I will show you like SCD implementation and then Snowpipe automation things. These are the things we are going to plan it here, but not the end to end project.
So, so for the schema creation, right? So
Mhm.
I mean, if it will be helpful if you could provide some real-time examples, like you would be working on some Snowflake account, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so we won't be creating one single schema in our day-to-day project, or maybe whenever
This
we are
is,
working on a
I
project or
understand.
an account. Yeah.
This is only the first session, right? So we created only the one schema here. Going forward, we are going to create multiple schemas. I will show you the multiple databases and then how to use the information schema, how to use the other schemas and everything. We will see that. It's very simple thing only. Okay, we will see that. Don't worry. Yes, Mohan, when it is coming to the Azure and Synopsys and Snowflake, right? So Azure Synopsys and Snowflake both are the similar, like both are the same features, almost similar. But only the thing is in the Snowflake we have multi-cluster warehouse environment that is not available for Azure. And when compared to the Azure Synopsys, Snowflake is little lesser the comparatively the pricing standards. And then when it is coming to the performance wise also, Snowflake is very fast. These are the main differences. No, Shivdeep, we are not covering Python, but we have one session related to the Python, how to connect to Python, how to do the simple kind of interaction with Snowflake. That we are going to cover it here. So we will see, so extracting the data load from the cloud platforms like AWS, we will see that. Within the Snowflake, whatever the automations we are going to do it, those things I will make sure we will, I will show you those things to you. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you all for your time. See you tomorrow, guys.